It's going to be a simple stage today. It's just going to be a little bit of sanding. I'm looking at instructions. I'm trying to look ahead and plan. And the next stage is sanding, but the stage after is the whole planking. And I'm really having a bit of a struggle understanding it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it simple, and then I'm going to have a look at the figures. I think we did say last week we were going to look at the figures. And I'm actually going to move on to something else, another element. It is part of the ship. It'll just give me a little bit more time to research this. I'd rather take a little bit longer on the hull and get it right. So the equipment I'm using today is a sanding block, and I'm anticipating a few little niggly bits, maybe little nooks and crannies and cut the sanding block in. So I've got 3 needle files. I may not need them, I haven't started this yet, so I don't know. And then I've got a flat file, as you see there, that's just a flat one. I've also got a half moon shape, so it's rounded on one side and flat on the other. And I've got a fully rounded needle file. So all we're going to do is, I've also got the planks that we're going to use in the next stage. And what's eventually going to happen is these are going to go onto the side like this, and they will go all the way back to the front, like so, and somewhere up to, I think that these ones are going to go up to about there. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating the base for them. So what we're after, if we just move this along here, and we're just looking for any bits where they're, see there's a little bit there, it's just catching there, so that's an area we need to sand. And then obviously, like for example, these bits are sticking out this way, but as it starts to go around the corner, it really needs to be more that angle rather than that angle. So we're just going to create a nice gentle curve, and hopefully that will then just make a nice foundation for the planks. So first thing I'm going to do, obviously we've left this piece strictly, so we've just removed the clamps. It should be fine, which it is, and that sort of stuff. I am considering how to do this. This bit is really worrying me. It's nice and solid, but I can't see how we're going to get planks in there. I'm sure it will become revealed as we go on. I'm also looking at my glue work, and I can see I've got some little overspill bits there, so I really do still need to keep working on that glue, how to apply it. So yeah, so what I'm going to do then is I'm just from here to about there, I'm just going to try and create a nice smooth curve using this. So like I said, it catches a bit around about there, so we just want to just sand that down a little bit. So yeah, so I'm going to sand it down. I'm going to play it in fast motion. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be seeing me a lot with this. I'm going to be putting it down, I'm going to be checking it with these planks, I'm going to be bending this plank around, not to a permanent point, but just flexing it around. Okay, so yeah, time for me to crack on.
Le 31 du mois d'août, le 31 du mois d'août, on vit venir sous le vent à nous, on vit venir sous le vent à nous, une frégate d'Angleterre qui fendait la mer et les flots, c'était pour aller à Bordeaux. Buvons un coup, buvons en deux, à la santé des amoureux, à la santé du roi de France. Et merde pour le roi d'Angleterre, il nous a déclaré la guerre, le commandant du bâtiment.
Okay, so I do apologise. I don't know what happened, but my video, I record the footage and I just sort of let it run. But I don't know what happened. But I've ended up with about 15 videos, So I don't know if maybe I kept catching the keyboard or the mouse and stopped starting the recording. So I'm afraid some of it's been missed, but essentially what I've done is most of the work came around here, which is quite expected because these parts have been made by me, whereas these parts here have been manufactured by a laser, so you'd expect these parts to fit a little bit better. So basically what I've mostly done really is just taken the scorch marks off from the laser cutting. So once you start rubbing and you're taking it all off from all sides, you then know it's level. The really hard bit is at the front, because as it comes round you're looking like you're going to have to take that off quite severe. So I've probably underdone it on purpose, because so long as there's some purchase, I'd rather take not enough off than too much. So obviously we'll start by sticking here, and then as it comes round, obviously we'll shape the planks at some point, and then you see there's still, I don't know if you can see it, but there's still some contact, and then that will bend quite severely to about there. I also need to just give that a quick rub down. Let's do that now, just to level it, just so there's a good clean contact when we come to glue it. Now we will be leaving this middle bit free, so we don't need to take the middle bit right down, but just as long as there's a good smooth level contact either side of it. So I'll just give that a quick rub now. I apologise for the noise, but I did actually miss this, and I'm also keeping an eye on the video. What actually happened is I got about 8 minutes worth of video, and let's say I got about 15 clips of about 30 seconds each. So, and also it's quite hard to know how to hold this. Well, obviously while you're manoeuvring, your hands go, I mean, it could be the ship knocked into the video, but there was a little bit of battle damage as we did it, which is this piece piece 28 that I accidentally knocked off the back. So that's going to have to go. I mean, I'll do that off camera. I'm trying to find out where it's come from now. There we go. So I'll stick that back on off camera. So yeah, watch out for these little bits. Thankfully I knocked it there, so it came off onto the table. What you're also going to need to do is give this a really good clean, because there is dust absolutely everywhere. Right, I'm happy with that. It's starting to take down the middle, but there's a good clean contact there all over. In fact, just do that bit just at the top. There we go. So yeah, it's good clean contact for the wood to stick to there, and on the other side, and then there's obviously that 4mm gap that we need in the middle. Okay guys, so I'm happy with that. Obviously I'm going to give this a clean up. I'm just going to I'm going to stick this bit back on, and this is going to go on the shelf for a few weeks now. We're not going to see it for a little bit, because I'm going to be doing lots of I'm really struggling to understand it, because it's something I've never done before. If you've done something regularly and you've got instructions that aren't quite clear, you can at least go, oh yeah, well that's okay because I know how to do that. So this is going to go back up on the shelf. Lots of YouTube research, lots of reading instructions, but the second part of this video we're going to be looking at the figures. The figures are going to have to be done at some point, and I just want to introduce them slowly during the series, and then what we'll do is we'll work on another part for next week. That will give me a couple of weeks just to sort of further research this. Okay, I just want to finish the video up by preparing and introducing and preparing the figures. As an optional extra, you can buy these 14 lovely figures, and what I just want to do is just show you the figures, and then I want to just prepare them ready so that if I get any spare time at any point, I can just paint them. Now I don't plan on painting these all in one session. I'm just going to paint little bits as I go. So as you can see, you've got some officers that are wearing red and blue there. You've got the Marquis de La Fayette there with blue and white. You've got sky blues, you've got yellows. So what I might just do, like if I decide I'm going to paint some blue, I'll paint everything that's got that blue on. And then another time I might paint white, so I would paint the Marquis de La Fayette, and then the sailors. So what I'm going to do, first thing I've done is I've actually made a copy of this. It doesn't infringe copyright because it's for personal use, but it just means that I can cut this photocopy up rather than cutting the box up. And then I've got 2 spare trays from the workstation. When you get the ship, you actually get these trays with the small parts in that are exactly the same as these trays. So you just remove 2 of the trays and you pop these instead. So while I'm building this, I've got 2 spare trays to use. You've got 9 sections there. You've got a large section there. So as I've got 14 figures, I'm going to put 1 figure in it. So 9 will go in there and 9 will go in there. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might put 7 in one and the other 7. So I've got the officers together and the sailors. So what I am going to do is find my knife, and we will cut across there. We will cut across there. On the copy, it doesn't matter about the wording, but I do want to keep the number. So 1, 2, 3. So this is a beauty. Take copies of things. We'll explain a little bit about copyright law. It is absolutely fine to copy anything that you own, that you have purchased, so long as it is for personal use. Now that doesn't mean that you can actually make a copy to produce another copy. So for example, if I bought a model kit, I couldn't then copy those pieces and make another model kit. That would be illegal. But if you're doing anything that does not show any gain, then that's absolutely fine. So for example, if you bought a music CD, you copied that CD and listened to the copy, that would be acceptable because it is for personal use. And it also saves wear and tear on your original. There was a landmark case many years ago regarding software. So obviously I'm making copies of the box art, not to sell but to use. So these are the figures. They are quite small, and all I'm going to do is we're going to locate the relevant figure. So this one, for example, is the Marquis de La Fayette. So I'm going to cut across there, and I'm going to cut across there, and I'm going to cut across there. That may not be. I think my blade actually is due replacement. I've been using this quite a long time now. So yeah, if it's not cutting through in one go, it's probably not sharp enough anymore. So okay, so I can always tell when my blade is sharp enough because I end up cutting myself with it. So this is the Marquis de La Fayette. So I'm going to place him into a box. And actually I might need scissors instead because he's a little bit too big still. So it's be a bit easier to cut this with scissors, but I don't think I have any scissors handy. So can go in his own special box. And then what I'll do is I will take the piece of paper, and I can pop him in there like that, and then I can easily identify him. So I'm going to crack on with this, and yeah, as we go on we will have a look at all the relevant figures. So some of these, if you're not sure, you just do another one and just discover what they are just by the process of elimination. Okay, so I'm going to crack on them.
Le 31 du mois d'août, le 31 du mois d'août, on vit venir sous le vent à nous, on vit venir sous le vent à nous, une frégate d'Angleterre qui fendait la mer et les flots, c'était pour aller à Bordeaux. Buvons un coup, buvons en deux, à la santé des amoureux, à la santé du roi de France. Et merde pour le roi d'Angleterre qui nous a déclaré.
Okay, so I've gone through the figures and I've identified all of them, and let me just see if I can change my focus so we'll get really good close focusing. There we go. So that's the let me move the lights. You know, sometimes I get really bad light. There we go. So that's the Marquis de La Fayette. This next one along is the Captain Hugh Pigot. I don't know who Captain Hugh Pigot is, so I've now been inspired to try and find out. Number 3 is the pilot, which is interesting because there's another pilot somewhere else. Although he's not called a pilot, he's called oh, I can't remember where he is now. Manoeuvrer, which is quite interesting. So you've got pilot number 3 and manoeuvrer. Number 4 is the first officer, and number 5 is a rifleman. So obviously he's involved somehow in some kind of protection. Number 6 is an infantry rifleman. So there he is. Number 7 is the sub-lieutenant or second lieutenant. Number 8, these will be the normal ranks. He's a helmsman. Number 9 is a top man. Now he looks like he's climbing up a net. Number 10 is a manoeuvrer. So I guess he's got something to do with steering the ship. Number 11 is the gunner. So has he got a cannonball? He's loading up the gun. Number 12 is the lookout, so he's going to be up on top of the ship somewhere. Poor old number 13 is a sailor, and he looks like he's having to scrub the decks. There's going to be a bit of a challenge there with doing the trousers. I've never done stripes before. And number 14 is the cabin boy. So what does he do? Does he just shuffle things around, does the fetching and carrying, but not responsible for anything, but not getting credit for anything. So I think you'll agree they look some really nice figures there. So we'll do those over the course of the build. So if and when we get a little bit of a slow issue, you know, or maybe just a stage where we're not doing too much, but there's too much to do 2 stages, then we can always just pop in and do a few figures. So that's it, guys, for next week. I believe we're going to be getting the planks out next week, so I hope you'll stick around and watch that. In the meantime, have an absolutely wonderful week.